So yesterday during a coaching call, I had a new accountant ask me what I would do to get new clients for an outsourced accounting firm if I was starting out today. Or in other words, like what should we all be doing to get good business clients for our accounting business? Now in this video, I'm going to share with you three specific things that I would do to get high-end business clients for my outsourced and accounting bookkeeping firm. But I need cover a couple of things so that you can understand the real vision and underpinning of how it is that I would go get clients. There's some things you got to know about first. So let's just dive in here real quick. Now, if you're wondering what the outsourced accountant model is, and some of you are, it's really where you provide a full stack of services to clients but focus on the most valuable things to them rather than transactional process things. So what's valuable for a business client, you might be wondering? It's a number of things really, but I really think it comes down to three primary things. First is helping them to reduce the amount of taxes that they pay, which is super important because it's really the equivalent of printing money for them if they do it right, because it's a bottom line deduction, right? Then the second thing is helping them make their business more efficient and saving them from hiring other staff people and then saving them time and making them more efficient. And this is really like the most valuable part of the service that you're going to provide to them. And then the third part is that you'll provide proactive advice and guidance to help them scale their business and become a better business and help keep them compliant. So you're just going to serve as kind of a CFO. So to save the taxes, that's important. To save time and increase efficiency, those are all really important. And then help them scale while keeping them compliant. That's what's really valuable to them. So in this model, you're going to do the bookkeeping, the tax returns, the proactive tax reduction planning, and provide guidance all for a flat monthly fee that'll range between $500 and $2,500 a month. Now, you'll have a handful of clients at $500 a month, a couple at $1,500 a month, and then you have a couple more at $2,500 a month. And it's good to know that there's a couple different levels like this where your services will be different. So what you're going to see is that those $500 a month clients are really those successful solopreneurs where they're making maybe between $50,000 and $200,000 a year. They don't really have any employees and their situation is pretty basic. Then you're going to have a handful of businesses with like 2 to 10 or 2 to 15 employees, and their revenues start to grow, right? The stakes are higher. So for these businesses, the number of new employees and contractors on the team increases, and the complexity of their operations really start to increase as well. Their demands on you and your team will be increased, and they'll also see you as more of an outsourced employee, which means that $1,500 a month is much more reasonable because it's the equivalent of them hiring someone for 12 hours a week at maybe $31 an hour. This second group of people sees you as a staff alternative, and they are great customers for you to have. Then the third group of businesses will have an increased volume of help that they need. The stakes on their guidance and consulting you provide is much higher, and they'll be much more apt to see you as an alternative to as an employee and start to value you as more of like a CFO and as a consultant, right? They also start to have much more significant tax reduction opportunities, and they need more proactive planning around their wealth planning, their tax reduction planning, even their estate planning. So they need to meet with you more often. And not only that, but this last group of people will have a need for management reports and will be much more focused on their goals and scaling their business. So they're really valuable things to them are like dashboards and reports, management reports, and just another much more valuable service that you can provide to them. And the stakes are larger, right? They have bigger problems and you can charge more for it. So you'll have simple solopreneurs, some mid-sized businesses, and then more complex businesses, right? And now we want to find new customers in all of these realms. And so I'm going to share with you these three things that I would do to get customers, but I needed you to understand who I'm going to be looking for as a potential customer. So now I need you to realize that there's a difference between marketing and sales. And that's pretty important for you to understand as we talk about this. If we want success, we need to have a combination of both marketing and sales so that we have messaging, website traffic, and the tools in place to get synergy rolling and move our business forward. You know, Donald Miller is an author that I really look up to, and he says that sales and marketing are like the two engines on a plane. They are two activities that will actually provide the lift for your business as you move forward. So sales is going to be us proactively pursuing customers, and marketing is going to be running behind the scenes as a support, and it has to do with messaging too. Another little quick thing to mention is that when it comes to our marketing, the accounting, bookkeeping, and tax keywords on Google all trigger the Google My Business or the local review thing, right? On the local maps, which means that if we consistently build up our credibility with Google reviews, we can eventually become the highest rated accounting firm in the area. And once we have that on our side, a compounding effect will occur because they're much more likely to click on a top rated profile on Google My Business. And then they're much more likely to close with you when they see that you have a resume of lots of happy customers. So as you get going, you'll want to get as many Google reviews as you possibly can. That's incredibly important as we're building momentum. In fact, I often recommend that accountants say yes to just about anything in the beginning so that they can build up credibility through Google reviews. So I do as many people's tax returns and bookkeeping engagements as possible, even the more transactional stuff that I said you don't want to do in this business model, just so that you can get people to review you on Google, Facebook, and build up your credibility. And then over time, as your Google reviews start to increase, you'll start to see that everything gets easier and easier because you start to close more sales as people trust you more and more because your authority and credibility has increased, making you much more trustworthy, right? So all that aside, here's the 3 things that I would do to get customers. So first off, I would make 30 phone calls a day, cold calls to contractors, realtors, home service companies in my area, just local small businesses. Then I would create an email and I would set up a free HubSpot CRM tool. And the reason why I would do that is because they have a template tool that you can use. And then I would call people with a simple pitch that sounds something like this. Hey, Joe, how you doing? My name is Rob, and I actually own a little accounting firm right down the road from you here in Lakeville. And I was wondering if I could shoot you an email just to introduce myself, because I'd love to earn your business someday. If you ever need somebody that's like really good at tax planning, I'd love to introduce myself. And then see if they let you. Just shut up after you say that. Most of them will say, okay. And I'm telling you, if you do this, and you'll start to get emails and be able to start conversations like crazy as you do these calls, particularly local. This is about local calling, but you have to get in your 30 calls every day. I would do that with tenacity every day, getting in 30 calls every single day. I would personally focus on subcontractors in the trades like concrete, framing companies, roofers, windows, electricians, plumbers, and home services like duct cleaning, house cleaning, lawn care, landscaping, any construction, anything outdoor. If you're looking for a list of business niches to target, then go to, I have a new website called accountingwebsites.org and just hit the blog. I have a blog on there called 70 Business Niches, and I'll put it in the description here because I actually sat down one day and thought of every business niche that I ever did business with, and I put it all down. So anyways, check that blog out. Now, I recommend cold calling, but I'd much prefer anyone that you have a mutual friendship with to introduce you to people, right? Getting a referral is much better. So ask your friends and family for referrals. Any business owners they know will be somebody that you'd want to connect with, and just reach out and introduce yourself. I'll hit on that on a different video, but really I'm telling you, you need to make connections. You need to make those 30 calls a day. And if you do that, you will create a mathematical inevitability that you will actually close some clients. Like, it will happen. The second thing that I would do is I would start to do lunch and learns and get to know every one of the offices for real estate brokerages. Real estate agents are really good clients if they make more than about $60,000 a year. And you can even approach the brokerage as a whole and ask if you can do some little lunch and learns. So basically, they have meetings every month or so, and you'll buy them lunch in exchange for being able to introduce yourself and do a short presentation. So you got to get that presentation done, right? You're going to go in there and then you're going to talk about like the 5 things that you can do to lower your business taxes. And then you'll collect business cards when you're done. Keller Williams, Remax, EXP, and each of the sub brokerages, they all have a need for services like what you're doing, and they're primed for your help because generally speaking, realtors are really busy getting sales and doing what they need to do. And then they get caught off guard about what they could be doing to lower their taxes. And then usually their bookkeeping is just a mess. Real estate agents are easy prospects too, because they have a need. They usually pick up their phone, and they're really quite simple cases for you to add a ton of value. So I would make sure that you have lots of phone calls, emails, cold messages, and engagement with real estate agents in your area so that you can help them with their books, their taxes, and be their outsourced accountant, and then really hit on the S Corp too. The last thing that I would do to get clients is that I would visit every BNI group in the area, and you could do chamber groups as well. But specifically, BNI is where I would look, and I would choose a niche association as well. So there's two things here. You can visit BNI groups up to twice and then collect all their business cards and then ask for a one-on-one meeting with every single one of those members. Now, they're going to want you to actually join the group, but you get to visit twice, and there's usually a lot of BNI groups. You can make sure that you teach and add value about how to reduce their taxes, and then they'll become your advocate if you help them. You should always be teaching, connecting, learning about them, and adding value. That's the key here. That's how I went from 0 to 150 small businesses when I started. So should you join the BNI group? Well, I don't think it hurts. I think it's a good idea for you to have a BNI group that you're really an advocate to. But the key is to visit a couple of them and get connected to as many of those people as possible. As you collect business cards of any professional that you've met, nurture that relationship, get to know them, send them emails, engage with them on their social media. Let them know that you care about them and you want to help them. Then you'll see at each industry level, there's an association that you can join and that you can work, and you can even do a trade booth, right? Whether it's the remodelers, the general contractors, HVAC professionals, electricians, you'll see a ton of associations out there. And once you join, you can get really active on their social media accounts, and you can make sure that to go to their annual trade show and buy a booth. That's a whole other thing, but it actually works. Now, you can work these trade shows, but you actually have to engage with people, and you should always be teaching and giving presentations on the S Corp or even 5 different things that they can do to lower their taxes. And you might earn the ability to get a meeting with a ton of these guys. Again, make sure you're collecting business cards. Anytime you meet a business owner, collect their business card and then nurture them. And then the last thing that I would do is this is funny because this is like what we do. I would create a marketing funnel and website system. That's really the core foundation of your whole marketing wing. I would create a marketing funnel that consists of a great website, a great video sales letter, and then a lead generator in the form of an ebook that people can download. And then I would dive into running some simple campaigns on Google, like Google paid search and Facebook and YouTube ads. You don't have to spend a ton, but it's something that you should absolutely turn on. Paid search with your Google My Business is critical. But that's where you should just call us or go to Feedbackwrench, and we'd love to help you. We have a really sweet couple of packages for accountants where we do your websites, websites and bookkeeping. We do your website, your advertising. We set everything up for you, and then we do the writing for you. That's the biggest difference. I understand this niche. I understand your customer, and I know how to write so that things go well. So that's the 3 things that I would do to get clients. Hopefully that's helpful. Like and subscribe. Check us out on our podcast, on our YouTube channel, Facebook channel. We're on TikTok now. Good luck and God bless.